Some random guy working on a O2 Denali back to repair this death wobble. It's a inner tie rod repair. What I use for this repair: jack stand, throw a chalk behind the back tire, block of wood, adjustable wrench that gets 36 millimeters or 1 3/8 inches, a 18 socket, and a 22 socket flathead screwdriver, hammer, long 1/2 inch, and you don't have to have it, but makes it quicker. 1/2 inch cordless, real rolly, give you some comfort. Get in here with a flathead, this cap off. Can break all these loose, then pick up the vehicle, support it with jack stand. Get this tire off of here. .22mm. Break this jam nut loose while holding on to it with an adjustable wrench. Little trick. And get your flathead in there, a pair of pliers or whatever you like. Get this cotter pin. Gotta straighten it up so it'll go back out the hole. Then it's a 18mm castle nut. And what you're going to want to do, there's a few methods for this. This is the way I do it. I've got the little tool to use, but this is just quicker flip this nut around, put it back on almost to where the bolt is coming through the nut, but it's not. You're gonna hit this joint with the brass hammer. If it don't pop loose, then you're gonna hit under here with the brass hammer, and you won't mess up the threads because you're hitting the nut. It's gonna be loud, guys. That was it. Now you're going to take this off. When you unthread it, you're going to count the turns. Every time this is pointing down, you're going to count 1. All right? So that's 1, 2. You get it. This one took 25 turns. Yours is going to be probably close to that, but it's not going to be the same. So then you follow this rod on up, and there's a 36 millimeter, and if you got that wrench, use it. Otherwise, get the biggest adjustable wrench you can get. And there's a couple ways you can go at this too. You can simply hit that handle with a hammer, your brass hammer, and try to break it loose. Now you're loosening it, guys. So this fastener, you're gonna be turning lefty-loosey. It's not backwards, it's a bolt that goes in. Or you can get you a jack, put it underneath here, jack it up to break that loose. Hitting it with a hammer is safer. You might knock your vehicle off your jack stands using the jack to break it loose. And for those wondering what it looks like to use the jack, this is what it looks like. Don't really recommend it. And once you break it loose, you can just spin it out of there. It is a greasable joint. Expect it to be filthy. And to get the new one to thread in, it doesn't want to go real easy. So I put a block and a jack under, lift this lower control arm. Now I lift it up just a little bit so that that will go in. You don't want to knock your vehicle off your stand. Close. It'll probably go now. And you just tighten it back on. Give it a couple whacks with your hammer. Make sure it's tight. snugged up. Hit it. Twist back this jam nut a little ways so you can thread this back on. Mine was 25. So just turn it back on. Same amount of times as you took the old one off. Get that to 25, goes back in the knuckle. Castle nut goes back on. $18mm. Tighten this. I'm gonna torque this down to 40 to 50 foot-pounds. And if you don't have a torque wrench, snug it down so there's no play up and down. And then you're gonna wanna look to see that you can see through this. Then you can put that cotter pin in and you're good. And you're gonna wanna bend that back over. It's like how you found it. You go in here, tighten this jam nut. Not real tight, guys, because right after this job is done, you got to take the vehicle to have it aligned. And you're just putting your wheels back on, tighten your lugs. You should always recheck those lugs after driving around 50 to 100 miles. Might loosen up on you. Good idea to retorque them. Always start your lug nuts by hand. They should go on pretty freely, easily. Should not be difficult to spin. If they are, you need to replace the nut and or the stud. Torque them down, crisscross pattern. 90 to 120 foot-pounds, depending on what vehicle you're working on. I don't trust the machines. I go in and retorque by hand. A lot of the machines are really strong. They could definitely get the job done. And that's why we're in here, guys. This is what it looks like without that boot on there. It is just a ball and socket. That socket gets all worn out, and then there's your death wobble. This is what that tool looks like to get that tie rod out. They work well, but it just takes longer. That's it, guys.